very special for the Buffalo Bills to see that, and they advance. So let's take a look at the playoff matchups. We'll start in the AFC. The Chargers are in, Patrick. The
Yes.
Chargers will play on the road at the Jaguars. And if you're asking me, I'm not that Jacksonville's ripe for the picking, but the Chargers got to be feeling pretty good to go on the road to play Jacksonville in the first round.
I think this is actually going to be a really tight and tough game, especially as Staley's taken a lot of criticism for not pulling his players out in kind of what a lot of people considered a meaningless game or whatever, because some injuries did happen. So there is that worry with the Chargers, but they are in the dance, man. I actually think this is going to be a really great game. Two young QBs head to head. We love it.
Yeah, I think so too. And you're right. That's something we should mention. The Chargers did suffer some injuries. I think Joey Bosa was one of the guys that got banged up yesterday. So yeah, that was a little dangerous in the final regular season game.
So we started catching a lot of heat for that. Like, what the hell's he doing out there?
Yeah, yes, exactly.
You know?
So Chargers playing at the Jaguars. The other AFC matchups, Ravens and Bengals. So we got that interdivision rivalry game happening again. And did you hear this? Listen, I'm not a Bengals fan. I'm not necessarily even a Joe Burrow fan, the quarterback for the Bengals. But, man, his swag is off the charts. And they asked him, do you feel like your Super Bowl window is closing? He said, no. My career is the window. So basically he's saying every time I put on this uniform, I've got a chance to take this team to the Super Bowl. That's how much swag old Joey B has.
I think each part of us, whether we want to admit it or not, has a little fan of Joey B in them because he's crossing into the territory of the great Jerry Rice, Bo Jackson, to where he's kind of all of ours in a way, in a really strange way. I love him. My kids love him. Yeah. How about this window? He's like, my career is the window. He just knows what to say. He's got a cigar. He's strutting in there. Look what he makes his team feel like. Joey B, you being a 49er fan, the closest Joe Montana-like magic, whatever you want to call it, Joey B's got it.
Listen, he's a great quarterback, and I don't want to take anything away from that. But the fact that he rolls in with aviator glasses, a fur coat, cigar in his mouth, talking swag, like it's just amazing. He's almost like a character. But no, he's a real live breathing quarterback, and he's really good too. So he's a lot of fun.
Do we know about Lamar? That's kind of the big thing. Is Harbaugh hiding the knee injury?
Well, that's the thing. Nobody knows about Lamar unless they're hiding it, like you just said. But apparently there is no timeline on his return. Maybe it's today. Maybe it's 6 months from now. Nobody knows. Unless they're hiding it, apparently nobody knows what Lamar Jackson, the quarterback for the Ravens, is going to do, if he's going to play. If not, then you got to think Cincinnati is the heavy favorite in that matchup coming up.
Just kind of feels like maybe that knee is a lot worse than they want to say. They just don't want to give it away. So they still have to plan for him. I get the strategy of it, but it sounds like it's bad.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, and didn't he bet on himself this season, a contract season, to maybe go find more money? Kind of backfired for Lamar Jackson.
But, you can see how Harbaugh loves him so much. It looks like Harbaugh may be trying to protect him a little.
Yeah, that could be the case. You could be right. But will he play this weekend, the more immediate future? Nobody knows. At least they're not saying it unless they're hiding it.
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say no, because I'm starting to think it's worse than we thought.
You could be right, Patrick. Yeah, maybe they're keeping it close to the vest because it is that bad. So, but yeah, we don't know if he's going to be playing this weekend. So that's an interdivision rivalry game in the playoffs. We have another one from the AFC East with the Bills. Talked about the Bills a little bit already, taking on the Dolphins, who Tua Tagovailoa, another quarterback. We have no idea when he's going to be coming back. So you have to think the Bills and the Bengals are heavy favorites in their home games coming up this weekend.
Yes.
All right, let's talk NFC as well, Patrick. And here is the game to end all games. It's going to be an instant classic, a game for the ages. The 49ers and the Seahawks. Patrick Seahawks, my Niners, going head-to-head. And Patrick, first off, I want to say congratulations, man. Coming down to the final game of the regular season as the Seahawks got in. They had to beat the Rams in overtime first. They did that. They took care of their business. And then the Detroit Lions knocking off the Packers last night.
Yeah, it was not easy either. I know what everyone's saying. Oh, the Rams were garbage this year. And it's like your brother in your backyard. It was a tough, nasty game. We managed to pull it out. We got Bobby Wagner on the other side. He's just dying to play spoiler because he's such a great player. And we needed a little help from the IE's own Jamal Williams. My goodness, he went from super emotional to straight up gangster in his end of the game interview. It was very funny, where he gave the tribute to his grandfather who passed away, and then it was like, don't let these tears fool you, right? Stop messing with us. They thought the Packers were going to win. No.
Was that one of the best interviews? Like, when we think about these classic all-time interviews, I think Jamal Williams' post-game interview is going to be up there, man. Yeah, the pride of Summit High School, former Skyhawk. Oh, and we should mention, too, Patrick, he passed the legend, Barry Sanders, in my estimate, the best running back ever. He passed Barry Sanders with 17 single-season touchdowns. That's a new franchise record for the Detroit Lions, man. Our own Jamal Williams. Can you believe that?
And I think that's kind of what, caught him off guard and got him emotional, because that made him think of his grandfather and how proud his grandfather would be of him to pass the great Barry Sanders. And it was just awesome to see. I love it that he'll just show his emotion. I love it. I think it's awesome.
It does. And man, social media was just having a field day with that interview. It's like he went from pulling on your heartstrings in one moment to going gangsta and, showing all that moxie and swag. And it was awesome. But it was a big win for the Lions. They hardly ever win in Green Bay. And of course, as a Seattle fan, Patrick, that was what you guys were needing to punch your ticket to the playoffs. So that was a fun game and a big win for the Seahawks.
Yep, and the Seahawks weren't supposed to do nothing this year. Geno Smith now sets the all-time passing record. I know. With an extra game, of course, that should be said. But nevertheless, he did. And we're in the playoffs. I'm just happy to have an extra game, Pat.
Hey, 49ers, Seahawks. I can't wait, man. The other NFC matchups, we got your Dallas Cowboys, America's team, taking on Tom Brady and the Bucs. I'm sure the NFL ratings are going to go through the roof. They put that one on Monday Night Football so the whole world can see that in prime time. So
that should be great. Let's hope. I mean, at least if you're a Cowboy fan, what happened? They disappeared, and they laid a huge egg in Washington.
Yeah. Somebody said, somebody compared their game yesterday to playing like that week 3 of the preseason, like where you just kind of like you're playing your starters, but you're not really going all in. You're just trying to come out healthy and just go through the motions. So yeah, hopefully Dallas is going to right that ship and kind of get back on track. And for Tom Brady and the Bucs, I think they're the real wild card. They've be honest, they've looked awful, and their wins. Some of them, they felt like they got lucky to get those wins. So I don't know. They're the kind of the wild card. Can they flip that switch and make this run? I don't know. But the whole world's going to see it, because if you got Tom Brady and you got the Cowboys, you put them on prime time, and we'll see them on Monday night.
It's just like an injured tiger, someone you don't want to mess with.
No, you don't. You don't. Definitely don't. No. And the other one is the Vikings taking on the Giants. The Vikings will be home for that one. Our guy Alexander Madison, the pride of San Bernardino High School, scoring 2 touchdowns yesterday for Minnesota. So they're looking pretty good as they go into the postseason. I know when we talk about Super Bowl contenders, Patrick, we don't really talk about the Vikings too much, but I think we at least have to consider them right now.
I think it's just the Kirk Cousins thing is the only thing that really throws us off, because he seems to dim when those lights are on in those big games. But it's like you said, they are a good team. They've done very well. We need to recognize that at least. See if Kirk Cousins can do it.
Yeah, I think they get past the Giants, but beyond that, I don't know. We'll have to see. We're going to have some really good matchups the following weekend. One other quick NFL note, Patrick, before we move on. The status of Sean McVay, the head football coach for the LA Rams. His status is in jeopardy right now. There's speculation that he might not come back. And he's, 36 years old? I mean, maybe he wants to go somewhere else. Maybe he wants to step back for a little bit, but there is speculation he will not return to the Rams.
I don't know who would be putting this out other than Sean McVay himself. You know what I mean? It sounds like him and his people. Because if you're the Rams, I don't know why on earth you would want to move on from Sean McVay.
No, because the thing is, especially for NFL head coaches, who else is out there? Like, okay, he moves on, but who else is out there? You always got to think about your next step. And I don't know if there's going to be a lot of great coaches available this offseason. Now, it might not be the Rams' choice, obviously, if he decides to step away. But, they'd be in a bad spot with, Stafford's health, in question. And if McVay stepped away, I know they went all in on that Super Bowl season last year, but man, they could be in really bad shape if he steps away. And that's the rumor. That's the speculation going around right now.
Yeah, if he steps away, then he thinks he can't win with this crew.
So we might not see Sean McVay at SoFi Stadium next season, but we will have the national championship game tonight at SoFi Stadium. It's your TCU Horned Frogs. I know Patrick's a big Horned Frogs guy as they're taking on the heavy favorite, the Georgia Bulldogs. Patrick convinced me. Does TCU have a chance in this game?
I actually think they do have a chance because, Georgia has played pretty well and battled in every single game. So maybe they can catch Georgia off guard because the Georgia defense is very tough. However, if TCU is to pull this off, I mean, they're going to have LaDainian Tomlinson in the center of the field, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, he's the most famous Horned Frog of all time, right? LaDainian Tomlinson, former Chargers great. Yeah, what TCU was able to do against Michigan and put that many points and go head to head, Michigan would land a punch and TCU would swing right back. That convinced, and again, I haven't seen TCU a lot this season, but that convinced me, like, okay, they can hang with Georgia. I'm not saying they're going to beat with Georgia, but I feel like it's not going to be a blowout. And hopefully this take is still relevant after tonight, that TCU should make this a game.
That's right. We will talk about it on Thursday. Either way, something cool will happen tonight. Either Georgia goes back to back, or the Horned Frogs of TCU are your national champion. That part at least is pretty cool.
It would be cool. We can't have Georgia and Alabama and Ohio State and these schools always in the national finals, always winning the championship. So it's kind of fun to kind of mix it up a little bit.
It would put TCU on the map. Like I said, we'll talk on Thursday. Pep, tell me how to get your stuff.
Yes, sir. Hey, you can get my stuff on Inland Sports. Check us out on the Inland Sports YouTube channel. We got thousands of subscribers. Go check it out, and we'd really appreciate it. That's Inland Sports.
There it is. That's it, man.